Are these robots taking human jobs? This massive robot named Foodly separates and packages noodles. It can also use its fork-like hands to pick up items like chopped veggies and fried chicken.
So the robot revolution just accelerated faster than anyone predicted. Let's see what this actually means for your career. What happens when humanoid robots reach cost parity with human labor while offering 24-hour operation, zero benefits, and superhuman strength? And why are economists now projecting a $50 trillion economic shift that will eliminate more jobs in the next decade than the previous century combined? Today, we're breaking down why the robot wave isn't some distant future threat. It's a transformation already underway that will determine who builds wealth and who gets left behind. Section 1. The timeline everyone missed. Elon Musk recently stated that Tesla will have thousands of Optimus robots working in Tesla factories by the end of next year. Let me repeat that because it's crucial. Thousands of humanoid robots, not prototypes in labs, but working production units performing real jobs in real factories by 2026. But here's what mainstream media completely missed. This isn't just about Tesla. Every major technology company and countless startups are racing toward the same goal. Boston Dynamics, Figure AI, Agility Robotics, and dozens of Chinese companies are all converging on commercially viable humanoid robots simultaneously. The timeline has compressed dramatically. 5 years ago, experts predicted commercially viable humanoid robots were 20 to 30 years away. 3 years ago, they revised estimates to 10 to 15 years. Last year, the consensus shifted to 5 to 7 years. Now, companies are projecting mass production starting next year with millions of units annually by 2030. Section 2. The economics that change everything. Let's talk about the calculation that keeps labor economists awake at night. A human worker earning $15 per hour costs approximately $31,000 annually, including benefits, payroll taxes, insurance, and overhead. That worker requires breaks, vacation, sick days, and can only work approximately 2,000 hours per year. A robot costing $30,000 with minimal maintenance expenses operates 24 hours per day, 365 days per year. That's 8,760 hours annually. Even accounting for downtime, maintenance, and electricity. The robot operates at least 3 times as many hours as a human while requiring no benefits, no insurance, no workers' compensation, no breaks. Do the math. The robot's effective hourly cost drops to roughly $3 per hour within the first year of operation, then continues declining as the capital cost amortizes. By year 3, you're looking at effectively $1 per hour. No human can compete with that economic reality. But wait, it gets worse for human workers. Robots don't just match human productivity. They exceed it. They don't get tired. They don't make mistakes from fatigue. They don't call in sick. They don't require training periods. They don't have bad days. They execute tasks with perfect consistency every single time. Section 3. The jobs disappearing first. Now let's examine which jobs vanish first, because contrary to popular belief, it's not just manufacturing. The initial wave targets what economists call structured physical labor, repetitive tasks in predictable environments where robots can operate safely alongside or instead of humans. Warehouse operations represent ground zero. Amazon, Walmart, and every major logistics company are already deploying thousands of robots. These aren't humanoid robots yet, but they're eliminating human positions nonetheless. When humanoid robots arrive that can pick, pack, and load with human dexterity, the remaining warehouse jobs disappear almost overnight. Food service comes next. Fast food restaurants are already testing robotic kitchens that prepare burgers, fries, and drinks faster and more consistently than humans. Humanoid robots will staff entire restaurants, taking orders, preparing food, cleaning tables, and handling trash. McDonald's employing robots instead of teenagers isn't science fiction. It's happening now in test locations. Retail faces similar disruption. Stock shelves, process returns, clean floors, handle inventory. These jobs require mobility and dexterity that current specialized robots struggle with, but humanoid robots handle easily. When a single robot can perform multiple tasks that currently require several specialized human employees, the economic case becomes irresistible. Construction represents a massive employment sector facing total transformation. Bricklaying robots already exist. Painting robots exist. Drywall installation robots exist. When these capabilities integrate into humanoid platforms that can navigate job sites, construction employment collapses. A crew of 20 humans becomes a supervisor, managing 5 robots. Section 4. The $50 trillion calculation. Here's what financial analysts won't tell you directly. The global labor market represents roughly $50 trillion in annual wages. That's the total compensation paid to human workers worldwide. When robots can perform most of that labor at a fraction of the cost, you're looking at the largest wealth transfer in human history. Think about what that means. $50 trillion currently flowing to workers as wages, salaries, and benefits gets redirected. Where does it go? To the companies that own the robots, the shareholders of those companies, and the handful of highly skilled workers who design, manufacture, and maintain the robotic systems. The wealth concentration this creates makes current inequality look quaint. When 90% of physical labor can be performed by robots owned by corporations, the 90% of humans who currently perform that labor lose their bargaining power. Their skills become obsolete. Their labor becomes worthless. Section 5. The skills that survive. Let me explain something that most people completely misunderstand about automation. The robots aren't coming for low-skilled jobs, while high-skilled jobs remain safe. That's backwards. Robots excel at repetitive, structured tasks, regardless of whether humans consider them skilled or unskilled. What robots struggle with, at least initially, are tasks requiring genuine creativity, complex problem-solving in novel situations, emotional intelligence, and human relationship management. But here's the critical insight. Those categories describe far fewer jobs than most people realize. Doctors? Much of medical diagnosis will be automated by AI systems that process symptoms and medical imaging better than humans. Lawyers? Legal research and document review are already being automated. Accountants? Tax preparation and bookkeeping are prime automation targets. The safe professional jobs aren't as safe as people assume. Section 6. The timeline compression. Here's what separates people who see this coming from those who get blindsided. Understanding exponential improvement curves. Technology doesn't improve linearly. It improves exponentially. What seems impossible today becomes possible tomorrow and becomes cheap next week. Look at the historical pattern. Tesla revealed Optimus as barely functional prototype in 2022. In 2023, it could walk and perform simple object manipulation. In 2024, it demonstrated complex tasks like folding laundry and sorting objects. In 2025, Tesla claims it will work in factories. By 2027, mass production for commercial sale. That's 5 years from prototype to mass production. For comparison, the automobile took decades. The airplane took decades. The computer took decades. Humanoid robots are advancing from impossible to ubiquitous in a single decade. That's exponential improvement enabled by AI, advanced manufacturing, and massive capital investment. The mainstream narrative claims robots are always 20 years away. But that's based on linear thinking applied to exponential progression. The people saying, robots won't replace jobs in my lifetime, are the same people who said smartphones would never replace computers or electric cars would never be practical. Section 7. The investment opportunity. So what does this mean for your financial strategy? Should you panic and prepare for unemployment? Not exactly. The robot revolution creates the largest investment opportunity in history, but only for those who position themselves correctly before the masses figure it out. If you're holding cash or invested heavily in companies dependent on human labor, you're on the wrong side of this shift. Those investments will lose value as labor costs plummet and margins compress. Companies unable to adopt automation will be outcompeted by those that do. The winning positions are obvious once you understand the dynamics. Invest in companies building the robots. Invest in companies providing the infrastructure robots require. Invest in companies that will benefit from dramatically reduced labor costs. And invest in your own skills that robots cannot easily replicate. Section 8. The social reckoning. My hypothesis is this. Despite the fact that universal basic income sounds like socialist fantasy, the economic reality of mass automation will force its implementation. You can't have capitalism when 90% of the population lacks income to purchase goods. The system breaks. The alternative is social collapse as unemployment reaches levels that make the Great Depression look mild. Governments will choose between UBI and revolution. Most will choose UBI, funded by taxing the enormous productivity gains automation generates. But that assumes rational policy responses, which history suggests is optimistic. More likely, we'll see a decade of social disruption, political instability, and economic chaos before new systems emerge. The transition period will be brutal for those unprepared. The people who thrive will be those who saw this coming and positioned accordingly. The people who suffer will be those who assumed their jobs were safe, their skills would remain valuable, and the future would resemble the past. History shows that assumption is always wrong during technological revolutions. Call to action. The $50 trillion robot wave is already underway, with Tesla deploying thousands of Optimus robots in factories by 2026 and humanoid robots reaching cost parity with human labor within 2 years. The question is, will you recognize this as the largest wealth transfer and job displacement in human history and position yourself on the winning side? Or will you be among the millions who wake up one day to find your skills obsolete and your job automated? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want analysis on the trends reshaping the future before mainstream media figures it out, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.